Thank you, sir. Your presence and guidance are truly valuable to us.
Next we have Mr. Ganpati Venkatachalam, head at TES. Sir brings with him nearly 20 years of industry experience followed by over a decade of impactful work in social sector focusing on women's empowerment and livelihood creation. In recent years, his work has shifted towards circular economy and climate action. He is currently a co-lead of Navi Mumbai post-consumer textile waste project, the city's and one of India's first urban textile recovery initiatives launched in 2025. This pioneering initiative establishes neighborhood textile collection points while also training women from self-help group to sort, recover and upcycle garments. The project aims to divert nearly 10 to 12 tons of textile waste from landfills every month while simultaneously creating sustainable livelihood opportunities. With his unique blend of corporate experience and grassroots social impact work, he plays a key role in shaping a circular economy model that transforms waste into valuable products while contributing to climate positive impact. May I request Mr. Ganpati Venkatachalam to kindly come and take his seat on the stage as one of our distinguished panelists. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Radha Joshi, scientist and HOD, Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani Research Foundation, who has joined us as a panel member. Dr. Radha Joshi is a scientist, head of the department, Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani Research Foundation, Kharghar. She is a dedicated molecular biology researcher with significant expertise in advanced genomic and molecular techniques. She has over 6 years of experience in biomedical molecular research and her current work focusing on congenital heart defects and maternal child health research, aiming toward the primary prevention of birth defects. Her research projects include genome-wide sequencing, DNA methylation studies, gene expression analysis, biomarker identification, often in collaboration with leading institutions such as Tata Memorial Center, ACTREC, and Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology. Dr. has received prestigious recognition including CSIR, UGC NET, JRF for her doctoral research. Ma'am has also published extensively in reputed international journals such as BMC Cardiovascular Disorders, Birth Defect Research, and Helion. In addition to her research contribution, Ma'am actively mentors postgraduate research projects, contributes to ethical biomedical research practices, collaborates across multidisciplinary teams in genomics and clinical research. May I request Dr. Radha Ma'am to kindly come forward and take her seat on the stage. We are truly delighted to have such a passionate and accomplished scientist with us today. With such an assured that discussion ahead will be insightful and inspiring.
Now that our esteemed panelists are on stage, it is time to invite the person who will guide this enriching discussion. To moderate this panel discussion, I would like to invite Mrs. Sheetal Aditya, convener of the conference, to take the session forward. We now look forward to a thought-provoking and engaging discussion.
With the grace of Almighty. With the grace of Almighty, welcoming all. I take this privilege. I am Mrs. Sheetal Aditya, and I feel today is a very special moment for us. Special moment because this is our third conference, but our first international conference. And this ideology of having a panel discussion is the first. I think that makes it more special. So I am really happy that you could spare your time for us in terms of this discussion. The discussion is going to be very simple. We're going to more discuss across in terms of the dimensions, the theme of the conference. What are we talking across? So when you talk about academics cannot be confined in four walls. I think these all opportunities give students to get explored to knowledges which is not available in terms of that, and through experts like you, I think this is a learning experience for them. So when we talk about today's theme, we talk about three important dimensions. The three important dimensions, under that the first is innovation. If you see the theme that we have discussed in terms of innovation, I think our international speaker has well elaborated on the terms of that. So I would raise a very common question that comes across, like for students when you talk about innovation. Like through your experience, we want to know that if you can simplify and make them understand that what you could learn across through your fields, what innovation is and how it has emerged from so many years. So we would request each panelist to contribute on this as well. We can start with you, Radha ma'am. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Sheetal madam and all the organizers arranging this conference and this interactive panel discussion. So since madam you have started with innovation, with my expertise in biomedical research, maybe I would like to focus little. This was a little bit experience which we had in our setup was just to give a brief background about where I work. So our institution focuses on congenital heart defects, which are the commonest of birth defects affecting globally the childhood mortality and morbidity. So ours was a tertiary pediatric cardiac setup when we started. But as we grew and we understood, since ours is a totally free of cost tertiary pediatric cardiac care center, we saw diverse spectrum from all across length and breadth of the country, the patients. And when we were looking at them and the load, which we were saying at our center, we thought there has to be something done at the screening level, or we have to actually reach the society and understand where we are going wrong, because what we were seeing is the diagnosis is not happening in time. Whenever the CHD diagnosis doesn't happen in time, though the surgical mortality is less, the child suffers over years. And there might be over period they redo surgeries and multiple other complications. So when we went to understand what we can do at the public health setup, so there we went from tertiary to primary healthcare, and there we felt lot of gaps. Though government is very active in trying to identify the birth defect at the earliest, there were lot of gaps, and there our teams helped in parallel with government to understand what impact we can do in child health screening. There one innovation I would like to comment was, we have partnership with one company which is California based, HD Medical they call it. So we all know the stethoscope. Every doctor will see hanging stethoscope around the neck. So this was a special type of innovation which the company made, and it has a HD, as the name suggests, it's a high definition stethoscope. So it is equipped with sensors and an interface. So what is difference here is that stethoscope will equip a trained medical professional to identify a heart issue. This particular HD stet had an added advantage where even a non-technical or non-clinical person could identify it at the public health level. So they did the innovation, but we were partners with them to actually validate their technology. So that's where the theme works well, where the integration was needed for us also, for them also. So there was the benefit of our partnership with them and for them to bring their beautiful technology in India. So maybe I'll you can just take it ahead from here.
I think it was wonderful in terms of medical, we could in terms of contribute. Ganpati sir, through TES, which is talking about sustainability, I think the projects that talk about, I think more of social innovation, what I think TES talks about in terms of this. So if you can elaborate what innovation in terms of that.
Good morning students. Can I hear a good morning from everybody? Good morning. Good morning, good. So thank you, and I think I really appreciate this topic because in today's world, you just can't stay alone with one area, which is innovation. You have to go till the impact, because unless the innovation can create an impact, you might not be able to know the validity of the innovation. So I think it's a very apt theme for today's world. As far as the social sector is concerned, the social sector is a very different anomaly, right? Because you really work on the grassroots level. Because there are many organizations, many institutions, or many things today which works at 30,000 feet. But as far as social sector is concerned, it actually goes to the grassroots level and tries to identify the problem. So Today we're going to talk about one such important initiative which we have taken in Navi Mumbai, which is related to post-consumer textile. Today all of us are wearing clothes and we buy clothes daily, right, or weekly or monthly, depending upon our needs, our requirements, or the status. What do we do with them, right? We throw it away, we give it to somebody, but we don't know where it lands finally, right? It could go to a landfill, it could go to any different parts, but it's a big problem. It's a big environmental issue, it's a big issue for the climate. So one of the things is what we are addressing today in terms of enabling to stop the landfill, of this textile waste which has been accumulated over a period of time or recently. So in Navi Mumbai, what we have come up with is an innovative idea to partner with Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation, with SBI Foundation and Ministry of Textile to collect this post-consumer textile waste across Navi Mumbai and then bring it to a centralized facility and then be able to move it back either to recycling or upcycling. So the innovation here is not only recycling but the products made out of this textile waste, right? So typically when we talk about waste, हम बोलते हैं ये क्या है, ये तो waste है, इसका क्या हो सकता है, right? So the innovation is to make sure that ये waste नहीं है, but you feel that boss ये तो क्या हो गया है. So we have some products being displayed on the other side of the hall. We would request all of you to also check them out. But just to keep it very short, social sector has a very different problem. The problem is to empower them. And innovation is required at every step, whether it be training, whether it be financial inclusion, whether it provide market linkage to them in terms of enabling them to sell the product, and finally impact them on a livelihood. Because ये सब करके अगर उनके घर पे पैसा नहीं आया तो you don't have any value you are giving. So the impact, what we try to do is earning for them, and from a societal angle to stop the waste, to stop the issues of an environmental problem, what we are facing today, to bring them together through a collaborative effort. That's what we are trying to do. Thank you.
I think it's amazing, Ganpati sir. Thank you. Sangeeta ma'am, through the field of education, I think we are all experimenting through classrooms. So for you, ma'am, would I like to glimpse, if you can share a few glimpses in terms of that we can address.
Okay, so first of all, very good morning to everyone here. And thank you very much, Dr. Sheetal, for inviting me, as well as Dr. Kurup and the principal, who gave a very beautiful talk regarding a very interesting topic. Since I'm from research background and related to academics, I think the topic is just apt and a very meaningful topic for students, researchers and faculty members to brainstorm. Right, so now coming to your question, Dr. Sheetal, which you rightly pointed out, like innovation, especially in the field of education and research. So it dates back to the Gurukul system when students have to leave their homes and study somewhere, in a very different setup, away from the parents, away from, the family members, to gain education. Now in the age of AI, we have moved on to something called physical education, to something called digital, to something called hybrid. The COVID pandemic has reminded us when physical presence was not important, and it was only through digital field that we could attend classes. And this is something very important because now, because of digital transformation, especially in the field of education or imparting knowledge is not limited by borders or visas or passport. You can gain knowledge anywhere, any part of the world with the help of this digital transformation that has taken place. So that is the biggest innovation which has taken place, and our government, which is aiming for Viksit Bharat 2047, has laid number of goals to help the students to gain knowledge beyond national boundaries. So you can attend a course from Harvard, you can attend a course from Stanford, you can attend a course also from any part of the world, and in fact in India to any of the top universities, right? I would like to talk about one very interesting, research which was done by MIT
brain scan study. So I think ChatGPT is one thing which all of us use, especially the students, right? It is a very important tool, but when MIT, how many have heard about this research study? Anybody has heard about the MIT? It's a very well-known published study. Okay. So MIT brain scan study talks about where students were asked to write essays. There were two sets of students that were chosen. One set wrote essays with the help of AI tool, that is the ChatGPT. The second set wrote essays using their own creative thinking. And this experiment went over 1.5, 2 years, 3 years. At the end of the third year, what was found? It was found that students who used AI tools without thinking much or applying their own creative thinking, the essays were repetitive without any type of innovation, without any type of new thinking in it. But students who wrote essays of their own, without an AI tool, every time the essay was different, every time the essay was new. So that is where it points to. If we are living in the world of innovation, as Dr. Sheetal already pointed out, we cannot do away with the AI tool. But AI tool has to be used in such a way so that it does not become our master. It does not start ruling us. Because the same happened in the MIT case study, wherein there was a sharp deterioration in the creative thinking, creative skills, and the essays were repetitive. And students who wrote without it, wrote beautiful, very creative, original ideas were poured in. So students, my advice to you is, because you are in the learning phase, there's a lot in you, there's a lot of creativity in you. Use it. You can make your work smarter with the help of AI, but don't let it overrule you. Let your creative thinking move out and do something different in the world of academics and research. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, good morning everyone. I'm sure Sir has also asked you to greet again, but I see the energy bit down today with everyone. So can I have a good morning with a big voice? Still it is low. Seems you didn't have proper breakfast. Okay, I'll open with the subject of innovation. As my colleague here, he rightly recommended that innovation needs to have an impact and end impact. So what should be the end impact? So in our industry, my company has been doing a lot of research, and we have been delivering India's first robotics project, with the Honorable PMO's first PMKS fund, which we delivered in the entire state of Goa. Approximately, today we have reached as over 1 lakh students, where we are teaching them, how to do a computational thinking. Now, computational thinking is a concept. It's not exactly related to computers. It's about imagining what are the real life problems and then creating solution towards it. Now, we have problems everywhere. So, as students or as research analysts or people who are working towards sustainability, towards engineering or towards different solutions, the objective is to use that particular knowledge or use your instincts. Solutions cannot be derived at the end result, but you have to take one step at a time. You cannot form solution in a single day, but if you start thinking with specific plans, you dissect it into micro levels, you can create solutions. I'll give you a simple example. In Goa, I'm sure you are aware that across India we have water shortage, fresh water shortage. So we had this challenge over there. So when I met the secretary, he said, okay, Shabaz, we have this problem and we are looking at various solutions. We are already talking to various other state governments and central bodies on how to derive solution. So in the state of California, I'm sure you are aware that there's a lot of heat going on. I mean, heat wave had happened last year and it had impacted very badly. So the state of California, what they did is they made these black walls and they covered all the ponds and lakes to reduce the sunlight impact, and that's how to conserve the water. We made a prototype in the state of Goa where we used IoT. If you have heard of IoT, has anyone heard of IoT? Can you raise hands if you have a little bit of help? No? Only one. So I saw some heads wobbling. Okay, we are aware. So, okay. So IoT stands for Internet of Things. It's not something very techy stuff. It's basically like, I want to create an automation. I'm sure you must have gone to some, some hotels or some different companies where whenever you walk in, the light starts automatically, right? So this is nothing but automation. This is nothing but IoT. So IoT, what it does is it simplifies, it automates traditional things. So we use automation to create solution. So what we did in Goa is we used something called as liquid sensor or moisture sensor. So we put this long sensors, approximately some 10 meter long strip, which detects water level, and it informs the PWD and the water resource management department where what is the level of water and how soon it is decreasing. Accordingly, the department can start triggering what is creating, what is causing this rapid degradation of water or depletion of water. So likewise, this is one area of thinking. Another way that we use a method called STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering and Maths. I'm sure all of us are scrolling on Facebook regularly, like we cannot sleep, so we keep on scrolling. We are not, we are lost in thoughts, we don't know what we are doing, so we keep on scrolling. So if there is lectures going on, we keep on scrolling. If there is something boring thing going on, we keep on scrolling. But I don't say it is bad, but I say that if you are learning something out of it, it is fantastic. So you must have heard about a small article of Jack Ma, where he says that we learn from everything possible in our labs. So which means any source that we have, we keep learning from it. So I have, I didn't learn everything in my, in my academics. I learned on the job. So, when I was working in different companies, I learned everywhere. I learned from each and every industry. So, even when I was as a student, I started, doing a lot of research and learning. So, science, STEM, as I was saying, it is science, technology, engineering, and maths. It's a concept for all of you students. So, what it does is it applies physics and engineering and maths and gives it into a solution. It uses all this methodology and creates solution. For example, you must have seen a lot of videos that there are students in Sri Lanka, in remote parts of India, who are making crane, who are making anti-missile systems using simple robotics. So what I'm saying is, this simple robotics or simple stuff, these are costing only a fraction of money, 200, 300 rupees. But this lands you in a very, very big opportunity. So if you learn from this scrolling, and you learn from all the YouTube videos. Today knowledge is free, it is everywhere. As ma'am also said rightly, there is tons and tons of information there on YouTube. Instead of wasting our time in watching unnecessary, I would not say stupid, but it is unnecessary. Rather you can optimize that energy and use that energy in learning new things. So if you want to meet any end solution or make an end impact, you keep on looking at problems around you. So I'm an engineer, so I say every problem is made for a solution. So until unless you don't think of solution, the problem has no value. So if you see a problem in your life, in your surrounding, in your college, start thinking and put a thinking tank amongst your friends, make a small group, create solution around it. So innovation, how do we use innovation? This is one solution of it. Keep learning. Take 20% data from your books, 80% data from YouTube and other sources, and learn and create solution around it. That's my, my data around it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shabas. As sir, I just want to roll out in terms of one question is, as you're from the field of robotics, and in terms of, it's a very fundamental question. Do you think AI will replace us? As in terms of that, that's a very fundamental question that as you in terms of integrating technology and all that. What is your take on that? Do you think it will get replace us or not?
AI will take over laziness.
Achha,
That's my take on it. Take over your job. If you are thinking that just looking at videos is going to give you some looking at only videos is going to give you any kind of a crack or any kind of opportunity. No, AI will take over that job.
Okay.
So stop being only an analyst. You have to analyze and create solution. So till the time you are giving a value add, you cannot be replaced.
Thank you. Just moving on to the next dimension, when you talk about integration, I think one of the best integration that you can see is how the knowledge that we have today, how we can integrate that to create towards certain solutions is what I wanted to ask the panelists. For example, Ganpati sir, if you can address, how to the traditional knowledge that we have, how can we in terms of solve problems in terms of sustainability, if I want to address?
I'll give you two separate examples. So currently we have a collaboration with Google and AVPN where we are training 60,000 grassroots level people on AI. These are farmers, these are artisans, vocational students. So I'll give one example of farmer probably or an artisan. So today artisan segment is the second largest affected segment in India in terms of suicide. Okay. We only hear of farmers, but we don't hear of artisans. So they make a lot of products, but unless you sell the product, you don't create a value. So how AI plays a role is probably being able to integrate what the product they make, because they don't know how to use tools like making catalog, they don't know how to upload in Amazon, they don't know how to upload in Flipkart, because ultimately today everything has become digital. You want to buy today, you go online, you buy things, right? Gone the days where you would go and venture out. Maybe still there are people, but the major amount of purchase is happening online. Like I said, go to YouTube, do this, do that. So same way today these artisans need the access to this kind of information system or online database. So what we try to do is integrate AI to them so that a simple tool can help them make a catalog. A simple tool can enable them to do online. So ultimately when we talk about the issues today, unless you have an integrated approach of bringing technology and enabling them, you are not able to solve the problem. So to solve the problem, you need to integrate it, and at grassroots level, you need to think of latest tools like AI or IoT. I'll give you another example of IoT. You mentioned about IoT. We are working on this Navi Mumbai project, right? And we get waste from multiple different, like you have cotton waste, you have wool, you have silk, you have many different type of waste. So manually to sort this waste is a very different and very difficult thing. Okay, so we have an IoT device, which is one of India's first homemade, made in India technology, where we just put any type of cloth or any type of fabric and you can say the composition, right? So this is again technology. So in social sector, you can't stay away from technology, you can't stay away from integration. So just to answer your question, whatever field or segment we are involved in, we have to integrate latest technology, enable the people so that the things can happen quicker and fast to solve it.
Yeah, thank you, Ganpati sir. Sangeeta ma'am, I wanted to ask in terms of that is, how do, in learning and education, this integration that we are talking, how does it help and how do we benefit our students as well as our teachers? That's one.
So as I said, that integration, if you talk about there are no barriers. We don't work in watertight compartments now. I guess students, you must be having, they have a project, dissertation project.
Yes.
What is this dissertation project which you have towards the end of maybe your undergrad program? It is nothing but the culmination of all that you have learned. So a marketing student can collaborate with the finance student. The faculty members who are working in the marketing department can collaborate with the finance department, the finance with the HR department, the HR with the logistics department, and the IT department. All of us can join together without working into watertight compartments. Join together to find solution to some great problems, right? I guess as for the new education policy, we also have something called Indian knowledge system, which talks about Indian ethos. It relates more to our faculty members here, talks about Indian traditions. And it is compulsorily now, as per NEP, we are bound to include a course on IKS in all our curriculum. So it is an integration of IKS in all our curriculum. Why? What is the reason? So when we talk about Viksit Bharat, when we talk about Make in India, until and unless we do not know our traditions, our ethos, our philosophies, which are so very good that it can apply to all our specialization and all our courses as well. So that is where the integration comes in. And the same can be applied to the research as well. So nothing is in watertight compartments. Today, if we want to move forward, and of course the next theme, which ma'am I think will talk about impact. Yeah. So create a greater impact. It is always important to move out of the shell. Right? To move out of the shell, to collaborate, integrate, come up with new courses. A marketing specialization course can also have a finance course. A finance course can also have a marketing course, because consumer behavior has to be learned by a finance student. HR dynamics have to be learned by a marketing candidate. So this is how the integration works. Right?
Thank you. Now, when you talk about Radha ma'am, I would like to pose this question to you. I think in the field of molecular biology, as you're doing research, I wanted to ask is how can we use this as one thing which can create, turning into global solutions or solution to the society. How can and how in the area it has helped, ma'am? I wanted to, if you can share a few glimpses on that.
So in terms of molecular biology, if we think of, we all know, we have all heard of genetics. I won't go into much depths of it. For the students, all have heard of gene therapies as well. So the innovations in terms of genetics are happening more to understand the genetic landscape in different diseases. And why it is important is because now everybody would have also heard a term called personalized medical treatments, or I may say the prescriptions, to generalize to all. So it's long gone that age, and now we are moving to, we try to understand what the personal need is based on the genetics of the person, based on the code which is written in his cells, and there we try to understand why that particular disease has happened to that particular patient, and try to devise a technology, try to devise a methodology by which that particular patient will have a near 100% cure. So there, molecular biology has really been revolutionized. We are also having gene panels into place now, where the diagnostic tools are having a better, initially different diseases, especially the rare diseases or the complex diseases, were difficult to understand and difficult to diagnose at right time again. So diagnosis is always a key for disease research. Right time diagnosis to other right time treatment, timely management, and better outcomes in terms of less morbidity and less mortality. So there, if we can have genetic insights with right research into place, then we can really have advances in the medical field. So that's where molecular biology has worked with clinical care to really revolutionize this area.
I think it's amazing, ma'am. I think Shabaz sir, to end my question from my side is of your company. I think robotics has played a very important role in terms of that. I think especially in the field of education, sir, how did it create an impact through your company, and I think how did it in terms of create a lot of transformative outcomes, I think, has come across through that. I want to do, if you can share a few glimpses of that, sir.
Sure. So my first exposure happened back in 2017, where robotics was very, very early stage. Back then we had something called as machine learning. So machine learning is a model where it keeps on capturing data and creating logical responses. It does not use a lot of intelligence, but it creates a valuation or logic-based output. Robotics is nothing but automation. Like, today we want a simple thing like, काम वाली नहीं, for example. So then what do we do? If you don't have a housemaid for washing your dishes, what do? So we have something called as dishwasher, right? Which is nothing but a robotics. It helps us clean the dish, put the foam like a washing machine. So in one side like a washing machine, and voila, your plates are clean completely. In fact, it is much better clean compared to a housemaid. I mean, no offense to that. They do their hard work. But machine. One of my ex-bosses basically gave me a very fantastic example of humans and machines. He said, humans are like, they always don't follow a straight path. They always wobble around here and there, because we have a lot of our. If you have heard of Nana Patekar's old dialogue, "Chota bheja hai, bahut baat karta hai," that kind of a thing. So we have a small brain which keeps on talking too much, and that's why you don't have clarity of thoughts. So very, very few people around the globe. Maybe I would say, all of you can also input on that. There's barely 1%, barely 1%. I think possibly less than 1% people who are actually having clarity of thoughts. Very few people have clarity of thoughts, because we are jumbled with so many things in our mind that if you want to create a decision, you never come up to a decision. You are always confused. Shall I do this? Shall I do that? Shall I do this? Shall I do that? If I do this, if I select this, then what is the what is the possible outcome? So we always create a lot of narratives in our mind, because of which we never end up to a decision. Now, robotics or machine, I am not saying that human beings are less or inferior to machines. No, human beings are the one who creates machine. But the problem is, while creating machine, human being loses the thought process that we are the ones who created that, which means the wisdom that we put in the machine, we have lost that wisdom, where we don't have that thought process. Robotics creates a simple path. A human being will, try to wobble around with to reach a destination or to reach a solution. A machine always goes straight path. There is only a logic, outcome. That's it. The moment we do this, if you have heard of our armed forces, armed forces, there is a simple method, chain of command. Means a soldier cannot disobey his superior. Right? Like a student who disobeys or not really inculcate the teaching of their teachers will never have a proper outcome. Why is that so? Tomorrow when you become teacher or you become at a manager or a senior level, you start saying, oh, you know what, my team member is stupid. Why? Because he is not, or he or she is not following that instructions properly. So once you create a system, like a system is nothing but a discipline. So, I'm just trying to humanize robotics. So once you have discipline in your life, everything is solved. You have outcome, you have solution, and you reach your goals. That's my outcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Sangeeta ma'am, yeah, to this.
I can add to what Sir said. He quoted a very nice example that discipline is what is required. So this was an actual experiment which was conducted, taking human beings on one side and AI on the other side, yes. And they were given a ping pong ball to play with. Right? So the targets was set, the game was set, and there was no deviation in the game. So one side it was human being playing the game of ping pong, the other side it was AI playing the game of ping pong. Who won the game initially? Any guesses? Was it AI who won the ping pong game, or was it human who won the ping pong game? A little louder. Human. Anybody else? Any guesses? To our was not human who won the game. it was AI who won the game initially because it was a set target on which they had to throw the ball and AI won the game. They devised something new and the way of the arrangement of ping pong changed, but the game continued. Now with the new thing coming into picture, again the game was played. Who won the game now? Sir is absolutely right. So it was human being who won. Why? Why? Because when it comes to additional doses of creativity, then human beings are better.
Absolutely.
When it comes to discipline, as Sir rightly talked about, focus is required. AI has got a set pattern to work, and that is where the AI performed better than human. But when it comes to creativity, it is always human beings. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it was a very enriching session in terms of that. And then I think this calls to the end for the... is there any student who wants to ask a question? I will only take in one question. Any student wants to ask? Yeah, Alima, please come.
My question is to Radha ma'am. If you could make one innovation happen in your field tomorrow, regardless of current technical, financial and political constraint, what it would be and why?
So very nice but general question. So we have all spoken here about a lot of innovations, maybe more cost intensive. Here in medical, we also look at some frugal innovations. One example I'll quote here. We are all thinking again, as I spoke initially about the primary health care. Our limitation we face to us when we go to villages. So what we see in hospitals, what we see in labs is much different when we enter the fields. And there when we talk to these ladies, the pregnant women, we wanted to screen them for birth defects. So what we found was there was a lot of resistance by village women to actually comply the antenatal care which was given by even the government and our teams. And there, these women are not very much willing to undergo the screening or anything because of multiple issues, social, let it be religious, there will be multiple issues. And there, getting them to lab to get their basic tests done also becomes a limitation. So we thought, we have been working on that project, we have thought of imaging their lower palpebral conjunctiva. So this is essentially this white part. So if we can image that and train that particular app, so we are trying to create a mobile based app where that app will predict the hemoglobin values, eliminating the need for the lab test. So this example I am giving is a very, it will require collaborations to have a very sound, accurate and sensitive app. But these kind of things will be really required when we think of even the medical research advancing, because always the technology will not give the solutions. The observation is the key. The observation to identify the need maybe. So that may be the key. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So by this we end the panel session, and I really want to thank all the panel members for their valuable time. I think our session for today, I think has addressed the main theme, that is call to the action, and providing in terms of global solutions. That is what we are trying to emphasize in the field of technology, education, sustainability and research. And I really honored, yes.
I think as we have students here and we really want to talk about impact, I think one of the things coming from the social sector is to have the students pledge for something, which is a cause, right? Because at the end of the day, we are all coming here, we listen to a conversation, we go back then Saturday evening, Sundays, and we all enjoy our weekends, right? So I would all request you all to think of a cause, right? So maybe we are working for X cause, you think of a Y cause, pledge for it, follow it. That's when you will really have an impact in your life and others.
I think it was an amazing takeaway, Ganpati sir. Thank you so much. Moving ahead. Thank you.
Thank you to our esteemed panelists for a very insightful discussion highlighting how innovation should ultimately benefit society by making meaningful collaborations and moving from ideas to making meaningful impacts across all fields.
As we come to the conclusion of first session of the conference, it is my proud privilege to propose vote of thanks. First and foremost, we express our heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chairman and Director Ajit Kurup sir for his constant encouragement, visionary leadership and unwavering commitment towards academic excellence and institutional growth. Our sincere thanks to our Speaker Dr. Annabalagan Krishnan for his enlightening presentation and for sharing his invaluable knowledge and insight with us today. We would also like to express our deep appreciation to our esteemed panel members, Dr. Sangeeta Trot, Mr. Shabaz Bate, Mr. Ganpati Venkatachalam, and Dr. Radha Joshi for their insightful contributions and for enriching the panel discussion with their expertise. We extend our sincere appreciation to our respected principal, Dr. Ravindran Karathari sir, for his continuous encouragement and support in organizing this conference. We also extend our sincere appreciation to Mr. Suresh Pillai sir for their continuous support and cooperation. We also like to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished guests, Vibha Mathur ma'am and Paramjeet Kaur, to truly add the value. They truly add the value to the event. We would also like to extend our sincere gratitude to Mrs. Sheetal Aditya ma'am, the convener of the conference, for meticulous planning, guidance and dedicated efforts in successfully organizing Shodh Manthan. A special note of gratitude goes to organizing committee, faculty coordinators, teaching and non-teaching staff and the student volunteers whose dedicated efforts made today's conference meaningful and successful. Finally, we thank one and all present here for your active participation, valuable contributions towards academic discussion and knowledge sharing. With sincere gratitude to everyone, I conclude my vote of thanks and I request Mansi Balekar to escort the guests to the conference room. The technical paper presentation sessions will begin shortly after the lunch break. All are requested to kindly assemble in the respective presentation halls on time. Thank you all once again. We look forward to the engaging technical session ahead. Thank you.